Has your wife said she's done and you're struggling to save your marriage? Has everything you've tried so far flat out failed? Well, brother, you're in the right place. Today I'm going to be teaching you the one thing you need to know to save your marriage. Now, if we haven't met each other before, my name's Luke Finn and I've helped hundreds of dads reconcile from some of the most dire situations. Now, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and smash the bell button to be notified each Tuesday when I release a new video. And make sure to stick around to the end of this video to get the opportunity to enroll in my free masterclass. In the free masterclass, you're going to get to learn the secret to reconciling that no one else is talking about and the 4 steps you need to take for your wife to see your change. Now, with all that being said, let's dive right in. So the one thing that you need to know to save your marriage is you cannot save your marriage by being the nice guy. Now, what is a nice guy? I'm going to explain that a little bit later. But this is really important because I can promise you, if you're making no progress in your marriage, this is exactly what you're doing. So the nice guy tactics look like this. So she says she's done and you start to beg and plead. You're like, please take me back. I realize the mistakes I've made. I can be different. It can be different. This doesn't make sense financially. We need to stay together. We love our kids. Let's not do this. Please, I can change. I realize the mistakes I've made. Let's give this another shot. Let's go to marriage counseling. I'm open to marriage counseling now, right? And you do this and it doesn't work. Or you start becoming a show pony. Your wife has told you that you were emotionally disconnected. You weren't there for her, or you weren't around the house. You were too busy working, or you weren't looking after the kids. So what you start doing is you reverse engineer that and you start doing all those things. So you're around the house more often. You're looking after the kids. You're doing the household chores. You're being more affectionate with her and you're telling her your feelings and you want to open up more, and none of this works. And guys, here, when you're being a show pony, you're doing this just to show her that you've changed. And this isn't real change. You've just changed your behavior. Like, you're doing these different actions of being around the house more, being around the kids. It's not real change. And the show pony is weak and needy. You do not want to be doing this. This is nice guy tactics, guys. And finally, it's a Hail Mary. Hail Mary is like you buy her a big gift, or like it's Valentine's Day coming up soon, so you buy her something for Valentine's, or it's her birthday or an anniversary, and you make this big gesture, grand gesture, that to show her that you really love her, or you write her a big long letter explaining to her your realizations and the mistakes you've made. Horrendous. This doesn't work at all. Or a Hail Mary can also be where you'll threaten her. A Hail Mary could be like, listen, if you don't check back into this marriage, I'm gone. Like, the door is only open for like a couple of months. I'm willing to do this separation now, but if you're not willing to check back into this marriage, I'm gone. That's a Hail Mary. You feel weak and needy and you're just looking for leverage. Do not do these tactics, guys. None of it works. And the reason it doesn't work, guys, is when your wife says she's done, there's a shift in the power dynamic. And in the past, you used to feel like you're on the same page, right? You'd see eye to eye. There was equal power in the relationship. But when she says she's done, there's a shift in the power dynamic. She's completely in control. She's got all the cards in her hand and she feels like you're chasing after her, right? And this causes you to have a jacked up power dynamic. And this is why so many marriages fail in the reconciliation process, is because nobody else except me addresses the power dynamic. And we're going to cover that today. And first off, let's look at how can you know that you've got a jacked up power dynamic once your wife said she's done. So let's look at how you're going to know you've got a jacked up power dynamic in your relationship. The first thing is your wife's going to be disrespectful and cold. So if she's not talking to you and she's calling you lots of different names, she's distant, you've got a jacked up power dynamic. You're literally experiencing that, where she is totally in control and you're weak and needy and you're chasing after her, you're pursuing her. And she blames you for everything, right? Is your wife blaming you for everything, saying, hey, you weren't around, you weren't attentive to my needs, you weren't looking after the kids, you're a crap dad, you never cared about us. Everything is your fault. That's a jacked up power dynamic. And she'll make threats to you like, look, I'm going to divorce you. Maybe you guys are not currently, she hasn't filed yet, but she'll start threatening, I'm going to divorce you. Or she'll say, we're finished. I'm not doing this anymore. Jacked up power dynamic, guys. And she'll make statements like, if you're already going through the divorce, if she's already filed papers and you're chasing after her, she's going to tell you things like, why won't you just move on? It's over. I don't want this anymore. Just move on, right? And guys, this is a jacked up power dynamic. She's got all the power. And maybe you start noticing she's lying to you. She's lying about where she's going, what she's doing. Guys, these are like telltale signs that your marriage, your relationship has a jacked up power dynamic and you need to correct it. And the problem with this, guys, when all these things are happening, is you continue to pursue her. She's lying to you, she's telling you to back off, and you continue to chase her and push the topic of what's happening with the relationship. You know, we can do this, let's get back together. This is horrendous. And what happens is, or what the real problem is your power dynamic is completely out of whack. It's jacked up. And the only way you're going to fix this, guys, is by balancing the power dynamic. So who's ready to do that today? And guys, share with me in the comments, have you done any of these nice guy tactics? Share with me in the comments if you've done any of these things. I'd love to hear from you. Now let's look at how to balance the power dynamic. And how you do this, though, guys, really important, depends on the type of person you are. Today I'm going to be covering nice guy. But if you're the ice guy, you want to do this in a completely different way. I'm going to link it up above, the training I have. It's a different training on whether you're the nice guy or the ice guy and how you become the right guy. I'll link that up above because this is crucial. You do not want to be doing these tactics that I'm going to show you now if you're the ice guy. It'll blow up in your face. You only want to use these tactics when you're the nice guy, all right? So it's very important, really, really important. And this is how the nice guy balances the power dynamic in his relationship. And guys, what I'm really excited to share with you today is this is not just theoretical. I'm going to share with you a story from a client who's currently going through my program at the moment. And I wanted to share it with you today because he's having incredible results while going through this program. He's not yet completed the program yet, but I want to share with you where he's at right now. So his name is Az. And when he came into the program, he was having serious difficulties in his relationship. So his wife had said she was completely done. She wanted nothing to do with him. She had started dating someone else. She was blaming him for everyone, and she didn't trust him at all. She was saying, because in the past, he felt insecure, wasn't being open with her, so he would lie. He'd like tell little white lies and wasn't being honest. So there was no trust in the relationship, and it was horrendous because everything he was trying wasn't working, and he was just chasing after her, and he was feeling hopeless and was wondering, what can I actually do? But he enrolled in the ARC system, and guys, as of today, I want to share with you where he's at. He applied the steps I'm about to teach you now. He's having the most intimate conversations with his wife. He's feeling her respect. She's already admitted to him that she sees his changes and she's like, wow, I just wish, things could have been like this earlier. So she's already acknowledging that she's changed and she's starting to get back on the road to reconciliation. And he now feels like he's a master of his destiny. So he's pumped up. Now, if you want to know more about Az's story, like I said, he's not finished in the program yet, but he's got incredible results. I'm going to link up above his testimonial, so you can actually listen to his story from himself, so from his own in his own words. So let's now have a look at how Az, the quintessential nice guy, went and balanced the power dynamic in his relationship and went from his wife dating someone else, being completely checked out, to her acknowledging his changes and is now starting to pursue him. So the first thing you need to do, guys, and this is what I did with Az, is when he came to me, he was feeling hopeless. His wife was completely checked out and he was struggling. He was really struggling. He was down. He'd lost his job. His business was not doing, so it was actually his business had crashed, and he was struggling. He was not in a good place, and everything he tried just hadn't worked. And then he enrolled in the program and we started working on healing his pain, because all he wanted was that his wife would sit down and talk with him, to be able to have that heart to heart so they could connect, because he was sure if he could just talk, they'd sort it out. And this isn't the case, guys. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. You're telling yourself that you need to talk with your wife and have a discussion about like how things have changed and how things can be better. That's actually not what you need. That's not going to help. So the first thing is we had to help him heal. So I helped Az process that pain he was feeling. He was acting needy and weak and chasing after his wife. So I helped him process that pain, release it so he could start showing up as the empowered man that was now attracting his wife back. Now, I'm going to cover this more in the masterclass. Stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to give you that process where you can begin healing today. Now, the second thing we did with Az is we got him to break this pattern of chasing after his wife, right? He came in, he was chasing after her, hanging around the house, trying to get into conversations with her more, sending her text messages, chasing after, just being weak and needy. And we had to break that. So the way I do it when guys come into the ARC system is literally, depending where you're at in your relationship and you're the nice guy, you're going to have to just break contact like for up to a month, maybe 2 months, depending where you're at, where you're going to just tell your wife, look, I'm working on myself. If you need anything, I'm always available. but I'm working on myself because I'm becoming the best man I can be regardless of whether our marriage works or not. I'm focusing on myself. And that's exactly the directives that Az got. We have to break that pursuing pattern. So he stopped pursuing and started focusing on himself. And he started to acknowledge the amazing man that he is and all the values that he has. And guess what started happening, guys? When he started doing that and working on his own value, his kids started telling him how he's the best dad in the world. He started feeling like the master of his destiny. He started feeling really good. Guess what? He got a new job where he's now like the #1 sales guy in there, and he's feeling pumped up, and he just feels rock solid, and he's completely in control. So that was the second step. The third step is we got him to implement the accelerator mindset. Now, I've got a different training that explains this in more detail. I'll link it up above now. But when he came into the program, he was implementing the handbrake mindset, as I like to call it. He was catastrophizing. Anytime there'd be a little bump in the road, he'd start thinking, oh no, I'm not going to be able to save the marriage. He'd make progress, and all of a sudden, something would happen. He'd hear something from a relative that she says she's done, or she would tell him literally, no, stop pursuing me. This is over. I don't want to be with you. This other guy I've met, I'm so much more in love with him. It's over, right? And he'd catastrophize, oh, it's really done. And we had to get him to get laser focused on all the progress that he was making. And when he started doing that, things started to shift. Guys, there are so many signs of hope that you can reconcile with your wife. You need to focus on them and dial in your mindset, because your wife loved you before and she can love you again, all right? So once he got his accelerator mindset dialed in, we then got him communicating like a boss. So before, every conversation with his wife, it was just a shit show. It was messy. It would end up in an argument. To be blaming and shaming, giving each other lots of abuse, and basically a feeling of distance, of that they were going further and further apart. So he enrolled in the program, and we started teaching him how to communicate like a boss. So he learned when his wife was getting angry and giving him blame and shame, blaming him for everything, he learned how to de-escalate the situation, connect with her, and get her to feel validated, like her emotions were valid, that he could actually listen to her and actually have this connection that they'd never had before. And he also got to learn how to communicate his own, from his heart, the problems that he was having to her, so they could get these really deep, intimate conversations that they'd never had in their marriage before. And the final step that he took as the nice guy is he had to correct the power dynamic in the relationship. He raised the standards in the relationship. Guys, if you're a nice guy, I guarantee you're doing this. Your wife can be doing the most crazy shit, and you can see her doing no wrong, and you're still chasing after her. You got to stop doing this. His wife things flip, guys. When your wife checks out of the marriage, things flip. So my client, as he was being dishonest in the past, he enrolled in the program. He is like ridiculously straightforward now, upfront, speaking from his heart. Like, he's an empowered, magnetic, independent man. And his wife didn't know how to deal with this. So she started telling little lies, and she wasn't being honest with him. And so what I gave him was I gave him the directives to focus on raising the standards in the relationship. So he started communicating, saying, hey, this is not cool. It's not okay that we make this agreement and you're not showing up. It's not okay that these things are not being followed through with the kids. And I'm telling you, when he started doing this, it was rocky, guys. It was bumpy, and he was freaking out. He's like, oh my God, my wife, she's getting further and further away. But he stuck to it. He believed in the process, and within just a couple of weeks, she'd completely done a U-turn. She started respecting him again, because your wife wants your respect. Believe it or not, she wants it. And by you chasing after her and not being a doormat, you're not going to get that respect. So a real crucial thing here, guys, in your relationship is you need to balance the dynamic. And if you're the nice guy, you've got that jacked up dynamic at the moment, you need to balance it by raising the standards in the relationship, just like Az did, which is attracting his wife back. All right, so I promised you the opportunity to enroll in my free masterclass, guys. In the masterclass, you're going to get to start that healing process just like Az did, and start showing up as the empowered man your wife needs. You're also going to learn the secret to reconciling that no one else is talking about, and the 4 steps you need to take for her to see your change. Now, to enroll in the masterclass, you can check down in the description. You'll find the link there. Enroll today and start that healing process and start showing up as an empowered man that your wife needs. And finally, if you haven't done already, I want to invite you to my marriage support group for dads. This is a free Facebook group filled with a wonderful community of men, so completely committed to avoiding divorce and reconnecting with your wife. You can find the link down below, register, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you've got any questions at all, post them down in the comments. And guys, let me know, which tactics have you been doing? And have you been the nice guy or are you the ice guy? Share with me. I'd love to know what's going on in your relationship. Now, if you found this video useful, do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and smash the bell button to be notified each Tuesday when I release a new video. Now, with all that being said, I look forward to seeing you on the next video.